killing too many, and lives are being lost. Not ordinary lives, productive lives, Michi, I must tell you. Young persons among those that are being killed. And it baffles you to know that Benue State is a food basket of the nation. If young persons that should be in their farms working and to produce foodstuffs are being killed, I wonder what becomes of the state in the nearest future. Plateau State too is a state for farmers also as well. And when Otom's first tenure, the president deployed the IGP to relocate there. There were talks that is a communal clash that they have in Benue State, and the IGP should relocate there to see how he can solve the problem. And the IGP himself said then that it's a communal clash, his brothers are quarreling against among themselves, and it should be resolved. Up till now, is it still siblings or intermarriage issue that they have? I don't know. At the point, the killings were having political dimension and mostly ethnic dimension. We have a new chief of army staff from the north central, per se, not central, from Kaduna State, the southern Kaduna axis, which is more like a north central, northwest. But the southern Kaduna part, they relate with the people in the
chief of defense staff, rather. Chief of army staff is from the southwest.
Very well. And he has a lot on his table now. There's a curfew in Mangu local government of Plateau State. It was relaxed, but it has been returned. And if you hear the way Nigerians abroad are crying, Amici, you know that the time bomb we are sitting on is still there. And we thought that the governors that were campaigning, they will have a martial out plans. Governors are campaigning for election in these states. They will marshal out plans to tackle this issue. So much blames on Otom, so much blames on Lalong. Now, new men are there. Not even the same political parties that are of the former governors. New political parties brought in Hyacint, and a different political party brought in the governor in Plateau State. So is it still a political matter? The problem remains. So what do we do? Where do we go? And it's also an advice to the president. Congratulations for his appointment, but he should not be distracted. He should know that he has internal problems to solve.
Okay. Eventually, Patrick Abula put something right on the spot where I wanted to lead from, and I'll tailor from there. There are internal challenges. We'll go to the issue of him being elected ECOWAS chair 6 months after stepping into the saddle as our president, at the latter part of the bulletin. Killings galore. It's unfortunate. We know the statistics that comes from the international organizations such as the International Crisis Group, which tells us that if you have over 1,000 lives lost violently in your country, you are technically at war. We are still
over a period.
Yes.
Is it 6 months or 1 year? 1 year period.
That you are at war. If you do the math, I saw the stats from one state, January to April, 500 and something, one particular state, Kaduna. Now, if you add all the others as well, you will see that we are in real trouble times.
Even the Ukraine-Russian war, I don't know how many have lost their lives.
No, there's a figure in terms of civilians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you compare the killings there and elsewhere and here, you now understand the point you're making.
Yeah, where you have a real war situation.
Yes, real wars in full-fledged.
So we are losing human lives. Now, the perspective I want to bring this up is this. I don't want to every time militarize all of these things. But there's no disputing the fact that our military are involved in 34 operations, in operations in 34 states, or whatever name
and
you call
counting.
it.
Perhaps more will be instituted.
Because practically everywhere, in some places where they may not be, they are there just to ensure, look, let's help the police. The police is seemingly helpless. The new IG, acting IG, is making those nice deployments, haven't gotten the approval of the Police Service Commission. So we need to also begin to ask these police commissioners, what are your strategies?
Are they new? Because the point you have put on the table, and which we have raised here in the past, is that the more you throw in your military security might, the more this killing continue. So does it not suggest that we have to approach it the other way? If you deploy soldiers, Operation this, Hadinkari, which one in the Plateau? What's the name again?
Safe Haven.
Safe Haven, and all those operations, money being extended, killing is going on. So we can't continue on that lane. That's what common sense will tell us.
And actually, it's very clear from what has been happening in, let me take Benue and Plateau. Operation Safe Haven, which is the one for the whole of Plateau in terms of military operations. The strategy that was there before was that there's a separate commander in charge of Operation Safe Haven, separate from the GOC. But when one of the
in Jos, the division in Jos.
Yes, the GOC. So when one of the chiefs of army staff came,
is it the 3rd division in Jos?
Yes, that's the 3D.
3D.
So he now merged the positions. And from that period, this is statistical, and I've done the analysis. From that period, the effort to contain the killings was not too strong. Because a man is GOC here, is in charge of this area of responsibility, he's in charge of that. So divided, this is what the stats has brought out. So if they separate the operations on the headship of these two things, you will be able to find that the man who is in charge of Operation Safe Haven, he does his work and reports to whoever he reports to, whether the chief of army staff or the chief of defense staff. In Benue, Operation Wellstroke, which reports directly to the chief of defense staff. I don't know what's happening in that for that operation. Has it been silently, dismantled? I really don't know. Maybe Teve might have some more information for us from that. Now, let me ask this. Let me raise this poser. See, Mr. Tinubu, our president, the earlier he gets grips, because the governor has declared a curfew in Mangu, where the
which is the normal reaction.
Yes. Now, it's either they know what they are doing, and ask those people, either DSS, who should provide intelligence, the CP, and the maybe battalion commanders, they can get a clean sweep. As all of you, maybe you don't know what you're doing. Leave the stage, go to another place and get the job done. Because the killings are
have we not seen that in the past?
Yeah, but at times, the earlier you do certain things, the better for you. I know my colleagues and friends who, they surrender their lives to protect and preserve. But the unfortunate thing is that at the top, there's always this accusation that some people do not want things done, either politically.
And we know who these people are. Teve, if I were the president, I will do something different. I will never go the same route. Deploy the military, call a peace meeting, call town hall, declare impose curfew, do this, do that. That we have been doing for how many years? So if you continue to do the same thing and you get the same result, how will you describe yourself when you continue on that lane? If I were the president, no matter how stupid it sounds, the next idea, I must say, for sake of change, just let's do something different. As stupid as it sounds, I will do something different. Now the question is, what is that thing different that we can do?
Amici, good morning to you. Good morning, listener. Definitely our hearts go out to those who have lost loved ones that we're talking about. Perhaps President Tinubu is doing something different. And what he's doing different, from what I can see, is that he's not talking about it. In the last 41 or 42 days that he's been in office, there have been killings. I recall that we also discussed this here and advised that there should be a change of guards, and the next day, that particular day, we saw, some changes, and all of that. But besides that, we have not heard him. We have not heard his spokesperson, tell us, if not even comfort, commiserate with the people of Plateau State or the people of Benue State or the people of Taraba or the people of Zamfara. It will interest you to know that the killings that are ongoing in and attacks, adoptions in Zamfara is almost like that is the rule of the day.
The other day, Representative Oga said kidnapping in his constituency in Abia State is as common as roadside accounts. That is putting their business.
But we've not heard him, apart from the changes we've not heard him say anything, even to just commit to even share in the grief of the persons that are affected in this place. And we must call him out on this. Yes, it's good to be ECOWAS chairman, it's good to be all of those stuff, talking about Senegal, talking about all those things. We have job at home. His priority must be Nigeria. His priority must be Nigeria. The issue of whether there's coup in Burkina Faso, coup in Mali, and say we will not tolerate. Yes, that is a normal thing. There's an ECOWAS protocol and all of that. But that should not.
It's secondary.
Secondary. It should not preoccupy his. It appears he's just enjoying, the euphoria of the office.
We have state governors who are also equally responsible. We have
I'm coming to.
We have leaders of thought.
I'm coming to that.
Well, everybody has
Recently,
a blame here.
Recently, the recent attacks in Ado and some of these places, the governor had a security council meeting. And what did they say at the end of the day? That they've observed that the response rate when an incident happens or when there are reports, intelligence as something is about to happen, the response rate or the reaction is very slow. And that is the issue here. You know, sometime in 2022, even my own community was attacked. We had reports that night. We called police authorities and all. Nothing happened. The people were helpless.
It's normal.
You know,
they always tell us
that's the thing.
we alerted the security agency. In fact, in one instance, they said there was a bridge that they were unable to cross. To go after the attacker. So these are the issues. And if the response rate is what it is and all of that, you know, we have a commander-in-chief. The governors will always tell you we are not in charge. But what the governors But they collect security votes.
Yeah, but what the governors...
They have a responsibility.
I agree with you. What the governors also need to do, including the local government, and interestingly, the same challenge we have in Plateau State is the same challenge we have in Benue, where the two governors have sacked the elected local government chairman have brought in caretaker or
so that's their priority.
That is their priority. But what
they perhaps they are targeting the local government funds.
So, but what they should be doing is how to mobilize the grassroots. There are structures in this place. I can tell you there are communities that some of us visited that, you know, as you are driving in, everybody knows that this person is.
You know why I said
it's
beyond state government and federal government. You know what is happening in Nnewi, Anambra State? Now, Nnewi is a commercial, an industrial hub beyond commerce. It's an industrial hub. And one citizen there, a senator, Ifeanyi Ubah, has said, because of Monday sit at home, because of increased security threat to my people, I have a responsibility, not just as a senator, but as a privileged Nigerian who happens to be rich. He has deployed hundreds of millions of naira in acquiring security gadgets, in equipping a security force, gathering young men and women in Nnewi, and they have formed a strong cluster. And Nnewi on Mondays, full beehive of activities. They have formed a cordon. They say, even if we can start from here, look at what we can do. Now, for an individual to take that initiative, an individual, where you have local government, you have state government, you have federal government that are collecting revenue, collecting and chopping security votes, and are telling us the normal thing, oh, we're on top of the situation. You have seen how an individual committing personal resources, proving that you don't just be on top of the situation, you keep the situation away.
But let's not forget that the issue of protection of lives and property remains the responsibility of state. And that's why all of us here have said state, as in the state actors, the Nigerian authorities, both federal and subnational, do what you are supposed to do. The governors keep crying, look, we don't have the wherewithal, or not the wherewithal now, we don't have the constitutional powers to do this and do that. We know the issues around. No, what I mean is that as in the Constitution, they attack state chief security officers. But you and I know that a CP can get instruction from a DIG, an IG or an AIG, contrary to what the governor tells him to do. And they'll say, sorry, that Abuja has said. These are still pertinent issues we need to continue to look at. But we're not absolving the governors.
They can get behind. How did they find you back?
That goes to say that we need citizens also to support the security agencies. Ifeanyi Ubah is one of them. There are big men in Zamfara. There are big men in Plateau. Have they brought in their resources to assist government? So what strategy can we
should hold the government?
Security is not a charity matter. It's not a charity. What Ifeanyi Ubah
is the responsibility of government. Whatever individual does.
And don't forget, he's also a senator.
Yes.
And he's also receiving money for his senatorial district and all of that. Perhaps he's channeling it into, But clearly, we need mobilization of the communities. I can tell you, there are people there who have information, but who do they tell? I have practical examples.
But who do they tell? Will they respond? That's the challenge.
even if they reach out to persons like in my place, some of us, and we reach out to those who we think should respond and they're not responding, how do you, what else do you do? The people are just helpless and just what it is.
So we remind everybody in government that your